So we talked a little bit last podcast about the SAVE Act and needing an ID to vote and things like that. And we got a comment on our YouTube page of a very angry woman saying that we're stupid and that if this passes, then essentially if a woman gets married, she won't be able to vote. That was the synopsis. I can maybe screenshot it, put it on the screen. So the question is, if the SAVE Act passes the Senate, will married women be able to vote in America? That is the question at hand from a viewer.
Yeah, and if you, this is the problem we have in America is most people get their news from TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. They don't read the bills. They don't read the laws. We're in a tribal system where you have Democrat versus Republican. We're going to talk about primaries being unaffiliated, right? And no matter what your favorite politician says, you just take it as gospel. You don't even fact check it. So right now you got Schumer and everyone out there saying, this is going to make sure women can't vote who got married and got their names changed. And they just chirp it like a parrot. They don't even look it up and see if it's true. We have Google, now you have AI.
Well, that's what she told us. She said, Google's free, go look it up.
Yeah,
that's
go look it up
we
in Google, right? So if you go look it up, and I did my own research and we found some stuff out here. So basically what they're saying is, if you to register to vote, and a lot of states already have this, you have to bring your birth certificate or your passport. And then I did a quick research. I'm like, aren't we right now in a massive push for real ID? And there's billboards, and when you get your renewal for your registration, you get these little paid adverts saying, make sure you get your real ID. I just got one this week because I renewed my registration. They spent millions of dollars marketing this and all that. So you can market the real ID, and it's more stringent with real ID. You have to actually... So you have to have 4 pieces of identification. You have to have, number one, you have to have a passport or birth certificate. Number 2, you have to have your Social Security card or something that proves that your Social Security number. Then you have to have 2 bills that prove your address. So the real ID is actually harder to get than just go register to vote. And by the way, you can register to vote online. Right, you just have to prove. You have to upload documents, right? And if you don't have your own birth certificate or passport, and social media is ablaze by people walking in neighborhoods going, "Do you have your ID? Do you have your, And it's we all carry an ID. We all do. To go into a courtroom or go to a courthouse, or and the joke is there was a representative said everyone who had to show their ID to get into Congress to vote, every Democrat voted against this bill. They had to show an ID to get into the building.
You have to show an ID to go to the Democratic convention.
Man, you used to have to have you have to have some form of ID to use Redbox, right? When you have to have a credit card that had your name to swipe and get your Redbox. You need ID for everything, and eventually a digital ID could potentially be a thing. We just walk in and then you just kind of swipe like.
Actually, a great comment that someone put underneath her comment was like, "Aren't you guys pushing to require IDs for purchasing firearms? Like, do you want to?" Not allow married women to have firearms.
The thing is, when someone gets married, like you got married, right? Yep. Your wife just has to go down to the Social Security office, and there's one downtown, and go file she got married.
So I just want to say the actual argument was that if a woman gets married, her last name changes, so her name no longer matches her birth certificate. Therefore, they will not be able to, under the SAVE Act, vote in elections. That was her argument.
Have you voted ever in your life?
Yeah.
Okay. So when I go register to vote and then I go get married, a woman gets her name changed. When she walks in and they ask for her name's not going to match up anyways, unless she went down and changed her name at the Social Security office. So you do is you fill out a provisional ballot. So if someone gets married, Janet Smith gets married to Janet Smithsonian, whatever her last name is, and she goes on to vote. When you walk in, you know how you say your name and they look up your name, and they used to cross your name out, right? So your name's not going to match up anyway. So a lot of times they give you what's called a provisional ballot. You fill out that, and then they go verify that your name did change and all that. So it's already like when you get married, your name is, unless you do it right away, when you go through society, you're going to have some issues anyways. You got to go change your Facebook, and they want you to update when you change your stuff on Facebook, they want you to verify. You have to upload your driver's license. Did you upload your driver's license?
I had to take a video the other day when we made our page.
So social media, to verify who I am on Facebook, I had to upload my driver's license. So this is the world we live in now, and to have elections, in my view, to make sure, and I'll cover this one. There's a story we posted. It went viral this week. We had over over 1,000 likes on this and comments on this. You had Linda Morao Hernandez, a 59-year-old Colombian woman, was convicted after a trial for using a stolen identity for over 20 years to fraudulently register and vote in 2024. And they got her on the ATM with her. I voted today. It's like the FBI like put the photo on there. She voted in the presidential election. She applied for a U.S. passport. She secured a Massachusetts real ID and unlawfully received more than $400,000 in Social Security disability, Section 8 housing, assistance, and SNAP benefits.
Wow.
So you can always, and the Democrat response will always be, and I don't know why it has to be a Democrat response. It should be, like maybe you don't agree with it, is it's rare and see, we're penalizing people, but why not make it 0% if you can? Like, let's make it so no one, if you don't like the laws, change the laws. But right now the laws, are the laws. And a lot of states already have this, and I don't understand. You ever see the map where it shows the voters, all the blue states are the ones that don't require ID, and all the ones that are red that require ID? I don't think that's coincidental. I think that, I think a lot of it would be I think Massachusetts is going to vote blue no matter what.
But it's funny because, so I posted a TikTok the other day talking about this, and I genuinely just cannot think of a reason to not want IDs to vote. And, there's always the conspiracy that the Republicans have, which is, the Democrats want to bring illegals in and then turn them to voters, right? So if Democrats say that's not true. So I don't understand why they don't just say, hey, that's not true. We also want IDs. But here's what I want, because I really have not heard a compelling argument. I would love to hear you, like, pretend you're part of the debate club right now, and you've been tasked with arguing the other side. So like you're a Democrat and you're arguing that. What's your best argument you can make as to why we should not have IDs?
Well, their argument, I just use theirs you see online, which is it disenfranchises minorities. And that is, to me, is one of the most racist things I've ever heard. To sit there, first of all, minorities support voter ID. Like, I think it was black 75%, Hispanic like 82%.
Yeah.
So they already support it. And then to think that they're incapable of getting an ID and bringing it to an office or finding their birth certificate is insane to me. And here's the problem you have. Like in Massachusetts, they're allowing undocumented migrants to get licenses, driver's licenses, right? And then in the RMV, they auto-register people to vote unless you say no. And I think they have there is a thing in the system to make sure it doesn't happen, but we also see people in the RMV. I think I read a story this week where they gave out like hundreds of fraudulent IDs.
Really?
To people who never took the driver's test.
Yeah, the number's not zero.
No, the number's not zero. And it happens significantly. And we're seeing in Minnesota and other places how much billions of dollars are being stolen, in ways that we see here also in the millions in Massachusetts. We saw SNAP benefits, 12 million came out. Dana DiZoglio did her little audit. She had a $1 million one and a $12 million one. And it's not that much in the big picture, but it's like, man, I write check, we write all these taxes and all that money flows there and it's flowing into fraudulent ways. We need to like get it to zero. And there is a way to get it to zero. My solution to make sure there's no fraud was, in my view, it's all digital when you're voting now, right? Why not get a digital receipt or something in the mail that says, did you vote this? That
confirms what you voted for.
And if no, call us. If you did vote this, and just ignore this. And that would be that I call the voting audit, which like you get. So imagine if you didn't vote this year and you get a thing in the mail that says, hey, you voted for all this. You should be able to call a number and say, I did not vote this year. And my way to do this is when you vote, they should have a quick snapshot, a photo of you, and then your vote. So then if it wasn't you, and I call and go, hey, I didn't vote this year. And they're like, well, let me go look. And they have a photo that's not me. And now I can find out with biometrics. They can do a thumb in a photo and figure out who the guy is. And that would stop any fraudulent vote in my view, but that's
a funny concept because I'll book a tee time to play golf and I'll get a confirmation sent to me in my email. Like
everything is confirmation now. And you can order online and you get your confirmation. You walk in with a QR code, you get all your food picked up, Uber does it, all these kind of things. Man, I don't know. I think you got to be disingenuous to say we should not have IDs to vote because I think why? No one can give you a reason. It's not disenfranchising anyone. By saying that, I think that's racist to say that these are incapable people of doing basic things. And you see the videos on YouTube and Facebook. They're walking in black communities, Hispanic communities, and they're like, "Do you carry ID?" And they're like looking at you like, "Of course I carry an ID. This is New York.
Why are you asking?
What the hell is wrong with you, right?" And it's like, I think it's just more of it's a way to make sure that there is some fraud out there because when they go through the voting rolls, and that's also what this bill does, is it clears the voting rolls of dead people. Because we probably famously saw Musk when he showed how many billions of dollars are going to people over 100 years old.
Yeah.
That were obviously long dead, but it was their kids basically collecting the money. You got to clear out the rolls. You got to clear out Medicaid. You got to clear out Medicare. You got to clear out all these kind of things of dead people or fraudulent voters, that kind of stuff. And ID is a really way to go, I think.